Sorry, everyone.
Great. So again, welcome to our May 17th, our May Coaches Call, kind of the start of our summer calls. And our agenda for today, as usual, we got lots going on. So first, that's me saying hello. Welcome to everybody. And then Emily's going to talk about our coach meetup at the upcoming NICE conference. We'll talk about sponsorships. If you haven't already seen it, we will talk about the dates for the NCL fall season, which we already have listed and ready. And then Franz is going to talk to us about the NCL Cyber Kit, the Cyber Lab Kit, which would allow you to compete and run a competition within your classroom if you're doing this over summer, something that I did last summer. I'll talk a little bit about just a quick reminder about our research paper if you weren't here last time. And then just a little bit about some research I'm doing and starting to do, and I'm kind of reaching out to ask for your help. So I'll talk about the research on the impact of NCL on student success. Once we do those updates, as usual, the format of this meeting is the second half. So usually right around the top of the hour, we'll stop this the big call, and we will create breakout rooms for people to have smaller conversations so that we can answer some of the questions that are posed here. So our topic for today is student success after NCL, which is tied into some of the research that I'm doing. And the questions that we're going to pose to you during that the breakout sessions that you guys will discuss in the small groups is, what feedback have you received from students on NCL? How has that helped them for their job after college or for college, if this is high school to college? How are your students leveraging their NCL experience and their scouting report in the hiring process? Or are they, or how are you reminding them to do that? And another really important one that we want to learn from you guys is how do you stay connected with alumni? And then, how are you leveraging that alumni connection? What do you do? How are you bringing them back in the classroom for talks, that kind of thing? So those are the three prompts that we have for you during our breakout sessions. Okay, so here's my welcome. So if you haven't been on this call before, I am David Zaitchik. I am the commissioner of the NCL, the National Cyber League. We also have Franz and Emily both on the call, both from Cyber Skyline, and they will also be talking to us today during this call. Okay, NICE conference. Emily.
Yes, thanks, David. Yep, it's all mine. So we are going to be attending the NICE conference. It's taking place June 5th through the 7th in Seattle. So it's going to be Commissioner Zaitchik, myself, as well as Franz Pear and Toby Lin from Cyber Skyline. And we'd love to have you all join us for a dinner that we're going to be hosting on Wednesday, Tuesday, June 6th at 6:30 p.m. That's going to be a little bit after the reception that's being held on Tuesday evening. Everyone is invited. We'd love to see you. We do have an Eventbrite that's up and running, so you can go ahead and use use a QR code to RSVP. And we do have some limited seats. We're asking everyone to please RSVP no later than May 30th. And if you're not able to grab this QR code and you want to reach out directly to myself, I'll make sure that you have my email address before we hop off. It's emily@cyberskyline.com in case you want to jot that down, or you can just reach out to anybody on the team and we can make sure that we have you as a RSVP. So we'd love to have you join us. It'll be a wonderful way for us to talk to coaches and interact in person, which is kind of a novelty these days. And certainly it'll be wonderful to be able to meet everyone and chat about the NCL. So please join us.
Hey, Emily, before we move on,
yes,
maybe we could take a quick little poll. If you guys want to use your reaction, if you could give me a green check mark. Let's start with, you have a green check mark if you are planning at being at the NICE conference. So if anyone is planning to be in Seattle, I think it starts June 5th through 7th. give us a little green check mark. So if you go down to the reactions portion of Zoom, you'll see a little, actually, or you could just give me a thumbs up. You want that? Anything to show me that you're coming. All right, let's see. It looks like Pamela.
A couple there. Yep.
Steven's there. We got the green check mark. A few thumbs up.
John, Daryl.
Cool. Okay, so it looks like a few people.
Wonderful.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to see who we're going to see. So look forward to seeing everybody there in person at the NICE conference. All right, go ahead, Emily.
Perfect, thank you. And also another thing I wanted to share with everybody as part of our community initiatives is talking about a little bit about NCL sponsorship. And just putting it out, the call out to the wild. If you have anyone who may be interested in sponsoring the NCL, I wanted to share a little bit with you. As you all know, our NCL mission. We want to connect students to cyber roles by bridging curriculum to careers. We know that you're our champions. We don't have to sell NCL to you all. You know exactly the impact, and you really help us make a very strong community. And we do this by providing community opportunities to encourage our students to network and learn from cyber professionals. And we also have our secret sauce, the individualized scouting reports that allow students to showcase their cyber knowledge and skill sets. And we find it to be very important to get their feet in those first internship and cyber roles. Sponsors are integral to provide resources for our future cyber defenders. Once again, we're kind of preaching to the choir, but we really need help being able to identify sponsors that are ready to be a part of our community. We want to be able to maintain a low registration fee, to have financial scholarships available for our students, to be able to have them access exclusive company programming and networking opportunities, as well as our mentorship program is a wonderful way to give students one-to-one mentorship programming with companies that are very much in our community and really care about our students. And we also want to continue doing our career-centered community events. So those are going to be the recruiter pitch days, the career village events, ways that we have students authentically connecting to those in the cyber community. And certainly this all comes to the purpose and the mission of the NCL, and that is once again connecting students directly with recruiters and hiring teams that are able to get them into those cyber careers. Right now we have CrowdStrike, One in Tech, and CompTIA as our NCL sponsors. These are fabulous groups of people who have very intelligent, hardworking, and dedicated employees who love to be able to interact with our NCL community, and we'd love to grow it. So if you happen to have a company in mind, maybe you have a connection, warm connections are always the best, certainly, but you also can share your experience about the NCL. And we're hoping that we can increase sponsorship this year. We want to be able to reach so many more students. And this is really, once again, just a call out. If anyone has any suggestions or introductions that you would like to make, I would absolutely love that. Please feel free to reach out to me or anyone on the team, and we can take it from there. So thank you so much for being a huge part of our community. Really, you are the heart of what we do, and your support of your students is really just the first step in a wonderful career for them. So thank you for listening about our NCL sponsorship programming. And once again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me at any time. And yeah, so that's all I got for this.
Can you go back to the QR code real quick for the dinner?
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, here's a QR code for the NICE conference, and feel free to share it with other coaches if they may not be on the call if they want to join us.
Yes, and I saw pictures from this restaurant. It looks amazing. So hopefully you guys can join us for some food and talk about NCL and everything that everybody's up to. It's always good to connect and see everybody.
I completely agree. We tend to not be able to see too many people in person, so it's definitely a good opportunity to see everyone. All right, now we're going to kind of do a little bit of moseying over onto the review of the NCL fall season dates.
All right, thanks, Em. So we previously sent out an email with the dates, but in case you missed it, here are the dates for the fall season. These are basically the exact same as we had for last fall, just shifted a day for the new calendar, but we'll have regular registration opening on August 21st, and it'll go all the way to October 6th. And we have late registration for several days after that. As always, the gym is going to be available from the very start of registration all the way through to the end of the semester, so to December 15th. And then practice game on October 9th through the 15th. And then individual game October 20th until the 22nd. And then the team game November 3rd to November 5th. And as a reminder, we do have the NCL Spirit Week, which comes immediately after the team game. And November 10th is when we're going to have our award ceremony and announce and recognize all of the winners from the season. Okay. Next up is the Cyber Lab Kit. And so we've kind of received on and off requests about, hey, can we have NCL over the summer? Is there anything that I can do outside of the season? And it's not possible to run a whole NCL season outside of the normal season dates for the summer. But what we've done at Cyber Skyline is put together what we're calling the Cyber Lab Kit, which is basically it's access to the practice gym environment and past challenges. And this is something where you can have 2 months of access for a group of students for like a summer camp. Maybe you've got an off-season course if you want to do some practice for your cyber clubs. So this is really meant to supplement what you might want to be doing outside of the normal NCL dates. It's not a substitution for NCL because it's going to be having those past challenges. So it doesn't really have that competitive aspect to it. But especially if you have been using, if you like using those CTF challenges as a way to practice and as a way to introduce students to cybersecurity, maybe you have that as a grade and you want to incorporate that into a summer course, this is something that you can do as well. And so I have the QR code there to get the PDF with more information, and I will also post a link to that in the chat as well. And if you have any questions about the Cyber Lab Kit, just shoot us an email. There's an email address in the PDF as well.
Okay, thanks, Franz. So just an update. This is something that we did talk about last month, but I wanted to put this out there again, just in case you weren't here last month, or just to get it back out there in the news. We are doing and hosting a research paper competition. And the idea behind this is we want you to do some research about cybersecurity competition, specifically NCL, and how it is, impacting students or whatever area you are interested in learning more about NCL and how it's maybe being used in classrooms. That type of research is what we're looking for, and we are offering prizes. So we will offer a first place prize of $600, second $250, and third $150. And we still have plenty of time for submissions. The submission isn't even opening until September 30th, so the end of September. And we're going to keep a kind of a big window of time open for submissions. So we are going to keep that window open all the way until January 30th of next year. And the idea behind that is if you are going to be doing research on this upcoming season, well, we want to give you time to be able to collect any data that you would think would be necessary from the upcoming fall season, and then give you a little bit of time after the fall season completes to put a paper together. So if you have any other questions about that, please let me know. And that is the research paper update. Of course, we'll be continuing to update you as we go. So expect more research paper updates. All right, next. So this is not tied to the last slide, because I am also doing my own research, and I'm not going to submit my research. Don't worry, I don't want to compete against you guys. So I'm interested in doing some research on student success. So yeah, and so I see a few questions coming in from the last slide about length and requirements. We'll have all that posted for you. So what I'm doing is I'm really interested in seeing student success. So specifically, I want to know, how has the NCL, them actually competing in the NCL, help them with their current job. And I'm sure you guys probably hear this. I also hear this quite a bit from my students about how impactful the NCL was on first helping them get hired, but then also it has prepared them for some of the things that they actually do in their day-to-day cybersecurity job. So hearing all this good information, what I want to do is to start actually quantifying that. So my plan is to reach out to our NCL alumni. And as you can see, I have various questions up on this slide. These are some of the potential questions I'll be asking them, plus a few more. The idea is that I will have a form for the students to fill out. And again, this is really trying to understand how the NCL has been impactful for them. From the beginning, like in terms of getting hired. So how did the scouting report help them? If they didn't use the scouting report on their resume, did they at least, talk about the NCL during the interview process? And then from there, did maybe, the hiring manager recognize the competition and think that's important? And then from there, maybe did them competing in the NCL make them think more about a career in cybersecurity? And then from there, did doing the NCL actually give them some more confidence that, hey, this is something that I'm actually good at and capable of doing. This may help me actually in a cybersecurity career. So maybe did some of the NCL competition actually help and prepare them for the current job that they're doing and give them more confidence in actually pursuing that particular job? So kind of a wide variety, but the idea again is, how did the NCL impact their success and their success in their current job? So the people that I'm looking for are alumni, so people that have competed in the NCL in the past and are currently in a cybersecurity position. And just a little background of what I've done so far. I've reached out to dozens of students on LinkedIn just to form a connection with them. And those dozens of students are the ones that have obviously competed in the NCL and are currently in a cybersecurity role. So did a lot of researching in LinkedIn, finding this group of people. So I've established a connection with them. And now the next step that I'll do is reach out to them and see if they are willing to participate in completing some of these questions. So filling out a form and giving us some feedback. So on the next slide, one reason why I'm bringing this up is for you all. If you have any students that you think would be interested in helping, and again, that help would be, taking minimal amount of time to fill out a survey to find out more, again, about how did the NCL impact them in their current job. So again, looking for graduates in terms of people that have participated in the NCL and are currently in a cybersecurity position. So if you have anyone that you think would be interested in doing this, I'd love to get in contact with them. So I think the best way to do that is if you wanted to introduce me to them via an email. And I have the email on my screen right here, dzychik@csuchico.edu. I'd much appreciate it. So if you could put me in contact with anyone that you think would be interested in participating, it would be a big help. As everybody knows, getting people to participate in surveys is kind of hard. So I think I'm hoping that given an introduction from one of you who knows these students will actually help get them to actually participate in answer my survey questions. So that is my ask from you. Any questions about that? Okay. If anything comes up, that's my email address. Feel free to email me. Okay, so we are a little early, which is good because we want to give you guys plenty of time for discussion. I feel like when we go into these discussion, if you haven't been into discussion time yet in terms of going into a breakout room with other NCL coaches, I always hear great conversation. So I hear lots of good talk about what people are doing and sharing information about what their students do now. Our last conversation was about what do they do after the NCL competition, meaning how do they carry this through the summer. So great conversation, but what we do want to do right now is figure out who would like to stay and participate in these breakout rooms. So if you want to participate, all you need to do is stay on the call and we will set up breakout rooms for you to talk to other NCL coaches.
All right, I think everyone's back. David, if you're talking, you're muted.
I don't want to be muted.
Okay, well, there you go.
Welcome back. I hope everybody had very good discussions. I know we did. So what we want to do for the last few minutes of this call is just kind of come back and see what everybody discussed and learn from each other. So Emily, I think you have screen control. Did you want to bring up the notes from the drive, or do you want me to do that?
If you don't mind sharing it, because I didn't grab it in the chat and it has now disappeared from me. So if you don't mind grabbing it, that'd be great. Thank you. And I let you have the capability to share.
Got it. Okay. Oh, it says it's loading. Oh, now we got it. Okay, everyone can see that. Okay, so in my room, we had John, Joel, Ken, and then Maria joined us at the end. And a couple interesting things that we had was John was talking about how one of his students was asked about cryptography in an interview. And she was able to talk about what she did in the NCL and specifically about cryptography. And apparently, the hiring manager was very impressed. And I think it's just a great, something that students can actually talk about during the interview and feel very comfortable about talking about in the interview. And also it's, somewhat outside of course curriculum. That's something that I know hiring managers really love to talk about. So for her to be able to go, oh yeah, I know cryptography and I did this in the competition is great. A couple other things that came up is that students feel like the competition is very well-rounded. So it really helps expose them to many different cybersecurity categories. Like we said, it makes students feel much more confident during interviews and about even thinking about going to interview, because they say, hey, I did these challenges and I solved them and I'm pretty good. So why not go for an interview in that particular field? And then this one I thought was super interesting. We talked about a little bit about how competing in the NCL has helped with them in terms of decreasing their imposter syndrome, because they're now in a cybersecurity job and they know they should be in the cybersecurity job because they know that they're capable at many different categories of cybersecurity because they competed and solved those challenges. So I think that's also super important to address. How do we stay connected with alumni? We talked about inviting students back to BTAs. They also have embedded tutors. Talked about creating an alumni Discord channel at one school. And then also I talked about creating a LinkedIn message group that includes all of my alumni that are currently in cybersecurity positions, which really helps with when a new position comes available at a company that one of my alumni is working at, they immediately post it to that message channel, and then it gets disseminated out, and I take it and I post it to my students. So just a great way to maintain conversations. Okay, why don't we move on to, that's enough of me talking. Let's talk about room 2. And Stephen, take it away. Oh, and Stephen, you're muted like I was. Yep. Let's see if we can I'll ask to unmute you. Should pop up.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Hello.
Great. Let's see here if I can get back to the share,
Okay.
so I can view it.
Yeah. Do you see it on my screen?
No, it's
You must have
blank.
you must have too many windows open.
Okay, so we let me go back here to the beginning. So we had Chris Lemon, Tim Matthias, and Joshua Chin in our group, and we talked about in the first question, we exit surveys at the end of the semester. Chris was mentioning that's what they do, and they've had 6 times they've had these surveys, or 6 different NCLs. Then I mentioned that what we do is we have a capstone class that we get feedback from the students, and I kind of gave an example of one of from this past semester, but they're always very positive, and they end up giving us direction as far as what we're going to do the next time and in the NCL. But it's the overall program capstone, so it's not just about that. But just I can give you a real quick. The first NCL game, we're only a month into my first semester. I did not know what to expect. The NCL was a perfect companion to the program. It forced me to learn a little about each of the areas under cybersecurity, and it goes on a lot more, but I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to go over that. So anyway, that's and then as far as how it helped them get a job, it provides that the feedback we had is it does provide them a talking point, and so we and so we said here, add it on the resume. It's a good discussion for interviews. The current students transition into cyber, use these talking points with their current employers. One of the schools have a senior that's going to the Coast Guard and using his scouting report there. And then it's also good for looking for internships. And then I had mentioned we have 4 students that were on an NCL team this past semester, and now they're in the Insight Career Challenge, and they work so well together as a team that the NCL was part of helping them in this. And this is a 160-hour, 10-week challenge that they're in. So it's really intense. But what they've learned in the NCL has, I think, helped them put that together. So and then how do we stay connected? Well, we use LinkedIn. There's an alumni section in LinkedIn. Another, I think Chris said that they were using Discord, and they set it up to where the students have several blocks of channels and that they can use, and that way they can continue on. So that was kind of the wrap up of our session.
Great. Yeah, and I think I remember Chris saying before that she uses Discord to like run most of her class, like the curriculum and everything, which is kind of amazing.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And last we have room 3, Chip.
So in our group, we had Sergio Salinas, Ron Pike, Andrea Barrios, and Matthew Cloud. The majority of our group, this was the first time competing, so we didn't have a lot of feedback for students that have already graduated and are seeking job. We did talk a lot about the difference between NCL and CCDC. and Cyber Patriot type of competitions. The students kind of credit, and the instructors credit the NCL for broadening skill sets and kind of using it as a gateway into that skills improvement and being able to compete at a higher level in other competitions. Holy Cross used NCL as an actual course, and in that the majority of those were not cybersecurity students. They were cloud computing students who happened to take that course as an elective. And so it introduced them to a lot of different categories and techniques. Some of us use NCL competition data for resume bullet points. We talked a little bit about using the Cyber Careers Pathway tool and focusing in on tasks for specific job roles that you can relate back into, like log analysis or forensics techniques, and that's a great thing to do. And then last thing, we talked about how to stay in touch with alumni. LinkedIn was a big hit, I think, with everybody. Several of us run Discord channels and servers for current students and alumni. One of the instructors talked about individual relationships with students, inviting them back to speak to entry-level classes after graduation. And the fact that student clubs drive a lot of alumni participation. They're doing a great job of maintaining records and maintaining connections after graduation.
Okay, great. Thank you for the summary. And I think Cyber Career Pathways tool, that's a great one. And again, what we'll do is we'll summarize what all the 3 different breakout rooms came up with. So you don't have to frantically take notes now, just so again, this is all to be collaborative and share what's working for us. And then for people who are new to it, then you don't have to go through all the struggles we went through trying to figure out on our own. So we can now leverage each other to help new people, and then also people who've been doing this for a while but have ideas from others is great. So we will summarize this and send it out. And let me stop sharing my screen. And Emily, if you wanted to bring the last slides back up. Couple quick things before we go. Very important. As I mentioned before we started the breakout rooms, we will not be having a meeting next month. We'll skip June, but we will jump right back in July. So July 19th, same time, same day, a Wednesday, we will have the next coaches call. And on this coaches call, the July one, the plan is to strategize. So we really want to find out what's working, and also what topics you guys want to keep talking about. So we want to know what interests you, what's going to keep you engaged, and what's going to make it worth your time to join these calls. So that's what we'll be talking about in July. Well, that's kind of like a strategy session for the fall to keep it interesting and moving on. All right, I think that's the last slide, Emily.
It is. That is the last slide.
Okay, well, again, thank you everybody for taking time to join. I hope that everybody found this informative and useful, and we'll see everybody again in July. If not before that, hopefully at the NICE conference. So looking forward to seeing the people that'll be there in person. Have a good start to your summer, and everyone that's going through finals like I am, good luck, and hopefully everything goes smoothly to wrap up your semesters. Talk to you in July.
Thanks, David and Emily.
Sure.
Thank you.